known. Welcome to Live with Medium Lisa Phoenix, and step into the magical presence of the metaphysical realm. Lisa will share the wisdom and musings from her own experiences, have intriguing conversations with other mediums and healers, in addition to exploring a wide array of topics and teachings on intuitive and mediumship development. Lisa will be taking your calls and inviting your friends and loved ones in the spirit world to share their stories with us. Raise your awareness as you are reunited on the level of love, and let's go live with Medium Lisa Phoenix.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. It's a wonderful day in Southern California. Welcome to the Live with Lisa Phoenix radio show. I'm Lisa Phoenix, your host, a medium and energy intuitive. My show is all about healing, mediumship, and energy management. And my special guest this morning will be Tracy Dunblazer, who just kind of dropped off the line here. So I am adding her back onto the call, and then we will get started. We're going to talk about a variety of topics this morning, and the station is currently working on the call-in feature for the show. So for now, if you want to share some of your own challenges or ask questions about your own specific journey, please join my Facebook page at Lisa Phoenix Live and post your questions, and we will do our best to address them while we are on the air. Tracy, are you with us? Oh, Tracy is not with us, so I will be right back, folks. Hang in there. Hey, are you there?
I'm here.
All righty then. So am I. So let's keep moving and see if we can stay online.
Let's see if we can do that.
Not sure why Skype is doing all the crazy stuff, but let's go for it. So anyway, before we start, Tracy, I know you've been on the show before, so let me just talk a minute about you, if that's okay.
Of course.
Tracy's website is www.tracydunblazer.com. That's TRACEEDUNBLAZIER.com. And Tracy Dunblazer is a spiritual empath, shaman, educator, and spiritual counselor, and based in Los Angeles. And she's also now an awesome author. Tracy specializes in grief counseling, energy dynamics, intuitive counseling, shamanic healing, space clearings, past life regression, soul recovery, and transition strategy. In 2005, Tracy founded It's Time to offer resources, education, and strategies for other practitioners, as well as those just embarking on their spiritual path. Again, I want you to visit Tracy's website at www.tracydunblazer.com, and that way you can get a better picture of what this amazing woman is all about. So Tracy, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. Had a nice, easy start into the holiday season, and, just staying low to the ground. That's what I call it, when you just want to remain neutral and keep your eyes open and your heart open and keep moving forward.
Yes. And so, Tracy, we were going to chat today a little bit about, and the way you put it is so funny because here I'm thinking, oh my God, are we talking about a new cult or what's going on? But we're actually going to talk about what people metaphorically wear on their forehead when they are walking around.
Yeah, it's the sign on your head. It's the most people you probably know. If you don't know this, it's going to make perfect sense when I say it. That we see people spiritually and emotionally long before our physical eyes actually witness their physical expression.
Right.
So long before we physically see them, we see or sense and experience them on an energetic level. And so that actually makes what I call the wearing the sign on your head, whatever it is that you are promoting or provoking from others, it makes that much more valuable. People always sense about you something that you may not think that you project.
Right.
But if you're ever in question, you can always just really become aware of the things that people say and do when they're in your presence, or the reactions that you get, or the kinds of things that you attract. Like, I notice for me, I have sometimes daily themes and sometimes weekly themes, spiritual ideas that seem to come up in my presence wherever I go. And because I'm the common denominator, that means it's valuable to me. It may not be what everyone else is really doing or about them. It may just be the sign that I have on my head that day.
Right. And it's kind of interesting too, because even though it may not be about everyone else, a lot of times we have a tendency to make it about everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. Because really, Lisa, it's all your fault. It has nothing to do with me.
Right. Or even in a more generalized way, it's just you're experiencing all this stuff, and it's like your first reaction is to go, oh my gosh, what is happening? What is everybody doing to me? It's to put yourself in that victim role, don't you think?
Exactly. I was just in Albuquerque and Santa Fe, New Mexico, promoting my book, and I had the most amazing experience. I was in Santa Fe on the plaza, and I walked up to this man. He was sharing his jewelry with people, and he says, I said, how are you today? And he says, I am absolutely amazing, and then I keep getting better.
Wow.
And I swear to God, it was freezing. It was below zero. And I'm from California, so below zero is like, ooh, burr. But it was really cold, and all of a sudden, I swear to God, the light and the sun shone over on his side, and all of a sudden it got warmer in the space. Everything got brighter. And I sat there and I was like, wow, there's no part of this man is going to have any kind of, sad sack around him.
Yeah.
Because he just is filled with such a solid experience and expression of joy.
Right. And I think we should all paint that on our foreheads.
Right?
Well, that's a good one. Can you repeat that again so all our listeners can get that?
Which part of it?
Well, he said, I'm amazing.
Yeah, he says, I'm amazing. And then I keep getting better.
Yeah. Again, that should be our mantra.
Exactly. How are you today, Lisa?
I'm amazing. And my God, I'm getting better.
Exactly.
So now let's talk about this though. Because again, if that's what you're projecting, that's like all full of awesome,
Yeah, it is.
Let's finish. Oops, we're coming to a commercial break. Tracy, hang in with us. You guys are listening to OMTimes Radio. My special guest, Tracy Dunblazer, and we will be right back after a quick commercial break.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Eros Evolution is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Join me, clinical sexologist Martha Tara Lee, on Eros Evolution on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram at Joy of Business or Twitter at Joy of Business. And share your pictures with hashtags BusinessDoneWhere and Joy of Business. Let's change the world with business.
Live with medium Lisa Phoenix, Mediumship Messages and Musings, explores mediumship and all things metaphysical. Lisa Phoenix invites you to reach above and beyond your everyday experiences, to explore new dimensions in the spirit world. She will do live readings to connect callers to their loved ones in spirit, shares engaging stories and teachings from her own personal experience, and will have intriguing conversations with other mediums, spiritual teachers, and healers to help you understand the metaphysical world so you can connect to these forces in your day-to-day life. Join your host on this magical and metaphysical journey into the world of spirit every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back, everybody. You're live with Lisa Phoenix and my special guest, Tracy Dunblazer. Tracy, you were saying. Do you remember what you were saying?
Oh, not at all, but I know it was fun.
Yeah, what I wanted to switch it because I was talking about if you're wearing that on your forehead, it's all kinds of awesome. But let's switch it to sometimes you're like wearing the not so nice stuff on, especially if you're working on yourself and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I think that there is a phase of spiritual development when a person is really working through what their spiritual imprints are, the memories of their soul, the experiences of their soul. And when you go through that, sometimes you don't know what is there until you actually find out what is there.
Right.
You know, you might think you know, but there's always something that you don't know. And what's valuable about that is when you're going through that process, your outer world, right? The things that you attract, the things that people say to you or do to you or for you or about you or around you, are indicators as to the sign on your head. I did one of the stories I tell about in my book is I worked with this young man and he had a sign on his head that said, "I'm stupid."
Wow.
And I was looking, it was a group session I was doing, and I was looking around each person, and I looked at him, and he was probably, 12, 13 years old, and I said, "You think you're stupid, don't you?" And he kind of, blushed and then laughed because nobody had ever just said that directly to him as if that's what he thinks. You know what I mean? They usually call him stupid or say mean things to him. And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "You're not stupid, right?" And he says, "Yeah." I said, "Who calls you stupid?" And he says, "My dad calls me stupid." I said, "Well, your dad probably calls you stupid because he's not very educated. Is that correct?" And he says, "Yeah, he didn't go past 7th grade." And I said, "Well, that's why he calls you stupid. He's projecting his feelings about himself onto you. So would it be okay with you if you let that go and that you recognize that you're not stupid and that you're good and that you have compassion for him because that's how he feels about himself?" And his eyes got big, and he's like, "Yeah."
Wow.
And I never saw the young man again, so I don't know where he went after that. But like it was just a load off the whole group because it was such a relief that he could have the experience. And I just really felt that he embraced and recognized that he just needed somebody to say it out loud to him.
Right. Right.
And I think that oftentimes what we desire is the new idea that we are seeking to create in our life, but it is actually the old idea or the things that we fear or loathe or have anger to that actually carry the most energetic weight. And so those are the things that seem to crop up in our world around us.
Right. And because for me, the way it's shown up is it's kind of like you get that what you desire way before you've shifted all the energy of the past, you know?
Absolutely. But even if there's a James Brown, I'm going to quote James Brown here. He said, "You can't be liberated broke." And that's true. And so and I find that is a common physical world experience for people as they relate to their lightness, their joy, their happiness, their spirituality, their wealth. They relate to it in terms of money and dollars.
Right.
And the point at which you are, you're desiring to create more money, get a better job, feel better about yourself, in all of those ways, that maybe you get that better job, but then you have all kinds of conflict because deep down you're fearful of what will happen when you lose it.
Yes.
Or you're fearful of how is this now going to change me? A lot of people, believe it or not, don't want to have money or a lot of money for fear that they will change in the face of it.
Exactly. And then when they start to hold on to that fear, all this stuff starts to come in and cause chaos.
Exactly. And that's actually the gold. That's actually the pot of gold right there, because the more you can sift through and go, okay, no, that's not going to change me. And no, I'm not going to do that. And no, those aren't my values. It really starts to shift. It was very interesting. When I was speaking, I had a 30-minute conversation with that man standing in the light on the sunny side of the street. And, he had a ring that it was the first thing that got my attention in all the stuff that I saw on the street that day. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy this. I'm thinking this to myself. I'm going to buy this ring from this man, and I'm not even going to haggle. And that's not my way. I haggle with everybody for everything because that's fun.
Right.
But I thought, you know what? I want to make a donation to his life. And so whatever he tells me the price is, I'm going to pay it. And I'm used to getting things at wholesale. So I knew that whatever it was he said to me was going to be more than I'm used to paying for something like that.
Right.
But so I went and I said, okay, so I want this ring. How much for this ring? And he says, well, for you, and he gives me the price. And I kind of choke on it a little bit, and then I handed him my credit card.
Gotcha.
And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this all with joy, because that's what I wanted to do. And that money that will be gone from my account will be quickly filled back up with other things. And it was really an experience of, if I want people to give to me in that way, then I've got to be able to give in that way.
Right.
And I'm used to, I love the thrift stores. I love a good bargain. I love to haggle, for, if there's a possibility to haggle price, I love to do that. And, anyway, so I was like, okay, this is my season of not doing that. This is my season of giving to people what they feel they are worth.
Right. And are you enjoying the ring?
Oh my God, I love it.
See, yeah,
I love it.
Factor number 2 there.
Uh-huh. No, I wanted to take a little bit of his sunny mojo with me. That's for certain.
Right. And I have been and still are, I've been in a lot of development circles and stuff like that. And you have people that are in all stages of their spiritual development, And I observe sometimes, and sometimes I think that, in a way, you'll see people as they go into different stages, like what you're talking about. All of a sudden, it's like this one thing, or they become, not because it's just because they're working through it and it's come up in their life. And then you see like the people having all like issues. Do you know what I mean? Like issues and this and bumping up against each other. And so sometimes I think that when people are in spiritual development, it's kind of like the circles are also there to help, or wherever you go, whatever community you belong, are there because it's like a way for you when these things are kind of like out and made bigger. It's a way then for you to have these soft kind of bumps up against each other, and it also gives you the opportunity to forgive each other. Do you know what I mean? Because in the moment, you're thinking this is so big, but usually when you go back, it's like, oh my God, that was such a small thing. You know what?
Right.
You know.
Absolutely. One of the things that I also want to bring, shed some awareness on is what it is like for the person. Let's say you are a person who has a difficult time receiving. You don't feel like anybody does things for you, that you're always being of service to others or always doing for others, but you don't really have anyone to do for you, and you don't have help, and you need, but you don't have, and you're really suffering through that. I want you to consider that the person who wants to give to you has to struggle through your difficulty in order to give to you.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that I think people don't really understand. Like how many men or women do we have out there that went on a first date and then they didn't call? And
I love that Flashdance movie,
Yes.
that scenario.
Yes.
Oh, no, he will call.
Yeah, is he going to call?
I know I went off topic a little, but when anybody says that, that's the first thing I think of is that scene.
No, that's true. And anybody who's worked, in the psychic industry, when people like just go into a bookstore for a reading, that's probably the number one question is he or she going to call?
True.
And, but so when, if you're like, well, is he going to call? Or is she going to call and then she doesn't call? Consider what you're putting out there. How prepared are you for her to call? How much do you truly want her to call? Or is it just about, you don't really want her, you just want her to call? You know what I mean? Like it's so multi-leveled. And the thing that I think that people don't really understand is that I just recently had an experience with someone where I really wanted to give them something. And I fought, I had to fight through it, man. I bought something. I bought a gift for someone, and they just had this sadness on this thing on them that every time I went to give it to them, I'm like, no, I just got tired. I'll wait. And like, finally, when I was leaving, I was like, here, take it. And the response I got was, oh, you shouldn't have. I can't take it. Okay, I'll take it. I was about to say, take it.
Right.
But the thing is I kept trying because I'm aware of that dynamic. I'm aware of what my friend is going through. I'm aware of all of how sensitive I am to that kind of a response. And so I kept trying. I just thought, okay, I'm going to sit this aside and, try it the next day or think about it the next day and wait for the opening where that person feels comfortable to receive.
Gotcha. Thank you, Tracy. And hang on with us. We're about to take another break. We're listening to live with Phoenix and a special guest.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hey ladies, do you want to have that good hair day feeling all the time? Gentlemen, would you want your special someone to have that glow, letting you know she is feeling completely satisfied? This feeling and that glow can be yours by embracing your sexual power. So join me, Rachel Kenley, award-winning romance author, on the O-Spot. The O-Spot will guide you to that peak with guest interviews, book discussions, and conversations on the thrills of sexual empowerment. Put the zing back in your life. Come up and see me sometime on the O-Spot, live on Hump Day at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram at Joy of Business or Twitter at Joy of Business, and share your pictures with hashtags BusinessDoneWhere and Joy of Business. Let's change the world with business.
If you remember living fearlessly, joyfully, and in a world filled with adventure, happiness, pleasure, and unbridled living, then this show is for you. Join me, Dame Nicole Brandon, as I bring you the world's top experts in wealth, creativity, flow, seat-edging technology, space, wellness, health, love, lust, and passion, all merging together each week here at the Hub of Happiness. Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Passionate Living, where you can ride on the magic carpet ride of living and learn how to lead a passionately wild, exciting, and outrageously amazing life.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Welcome back, everybody. You're on OMTimes Radio, live with Lisa Phoenix and my special guest, Tracy Dunblazer. Now, Tracy, talk to us about what we can do when we're in these moments where we're wearing something on our forehead, which we wish not to be wearing.
Lisa, I wish not to be wearing this.
I don't want that hat.
I think that you have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient, and you have to have the enthusiasm and motivation to not judge yourself for the hat you're wearing, but to take it off and look at it and decide how it serves you. Because when we recognize, when we are, if we're rude to people, or if us feeling like we are alone in the world motivates us in some other arena in our life, then that's a hat that we're going to continue to wear because we're getting something from it. So if you take off the hat and go, okay, what are you and why are you here and how do you serve me? This is what I get from wearing you. Okay, how can I get that thing in another way without wearing you? You are totally no longer my style. And once you go through that process in an objective fashion, in a non-judgmental, compassionate, patient way with yourself, then it allows you to troubleshoot and to do something different. People think that they just feel broken and they feel like they've done it wrong and they feel bad about themselves, and all of those feelings contribute to the experience that we have when we feel stuck.
Right.
How many times a day do you hear from a client, I feel stuck?
Yes. And it also inhibits people from, like, if you have an encounter with somebody and say, like, you're going through something, you overreacted or something, and feeling that shame and judging yourself keeps you from, like, being able to say, hey, I think I overreacted, and da-da-da-da-da. A lot of people just kind of crawl into themselves and kind of,
yes,
ignore it.
I write relationship advice for meetmindful.com.
Gotcha, yeah.
And one of my upcoming articles is exactly on that. It's there's a couple of them. One is on the subtle red flags in a relationship, and then how you deal with not picking fights with people. Mm-hmm. like how do you deal with what the article is about, dealing with the drama in your relationship. And one of the things that I talk about in the article is that drama is not drama. It started out, it originated as pain. And so when we diminish it by, trivializing it a little bit by calling it drama, we forget that it actually started out as something hurtful and valuable and painful. And when you can remember that everyone is functioning, if they're functioning in a reactive state, mm-hmm. it means there is some pain that they're responding to that they may not even be conscious of. And if we understand that about an overreaction, we can go, hey, what's this really about? What's really going on? Okay, you know what? If you're not able to talk about it or you can't talk about it, then we can continue this another time. But don't speak to me in that fashion. Or, you know what I mean? You can set a boundary.
Still have to hold your boundaries.
Exactly. You can hold your boundaries and have love and compassion for somebody who, something might be emerging in their spirit that they are unaware of. I've had people in session, I've had them throw up, pass out, have panic attacks at the emergence of some new information that they were not consciously aware of.
Wow.
I've seen people go through some really strong reactions, and oh my goodness. One time a gal, she threw up and she was horrified. She never came back to see me again. And I felt bad for her. I mean, I know that we had an amazing breakthrough. I helped her with the cleanup. I didn't flinch because truly I had seen that sort of thing before. It really didn't surprise me or freak me out in any way. But she was so horrified by having done that she just didn't look back. And that happens a lot of times. Sometimes you'll meet new people and all of a sudden you will have this profound reaction that you don't know why. And so it may seem that you have an over openness or an over attachment to the person, at hand, but really what it is that your spirit is something has opened up in you, a memory, a spiritual memory that you're trying to get at what the information is, because it's something that is resonant with you currently.
Gotcha.
So it's really important that, if you're a person who is witnessing a reaction in someone else, be willing to say, hey, what's really going on here? And I know this happened, but that's not the reaction you're having. It's not logical to what's happened.
Right, exactly. And it's not just actually emotional. Sometimes it can be physical. Do you know what I mean? That's causing a reaction. It's just because we're finding out more now. There's a group who always knew this, but I think more the general public is finding out now how much body, soul, mind, spirit are all connected.
Right.
And so it's kind of, and again, it's, if you're a person, especially if you're seeming like you're going through these, like, I'm just going to call it all kinds of crazy. Do you know?
Sure.
It's really good to look at all those different areas, because probably one or two are out of balance, and it's just a matter of putting them back in. Don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that things that they become out of balance. It's like if you have, this is a really absolutely disgusting metaphor, but if you have a boil,
yeah,
it's going to get worse before it gets better. That's just how it is. It's going to erupt and be released, and then it's going to start to heal. And that's the same thing emotionally. It's the same thing physically. People have healing crises all the time. I've had, hundreds of healing crises in my process of healing over the last 20 years, where I don't even, whenever I have symptoms of being sick or flu-like, I don't call it sick anymore. I don't ever consider myself sick. I consider myself in a healing crisis.
Gotcha.
And I always warn people when they come to do work with me that sometimes people have, enormous spiritual shiftings that there is going to have to be a repercussion on the physical world. It may be a fever, it may be, a 3-day sickness or flu.
Right.
But it's common, and it should happen. Your physical body is a representation of every other layer of energy on a higher vibration. So whatever you release on a spirit level has got to eventually mirror down into the physical world, and the physical body changes because of it.
Exactly. And the same goes true for the other way around too. Like if there is something that, you're like holding on to, do you know what, your body can react that way too.
Absolutely. I know quite a few people who, I call it the surgical removal of karma, where they have a chronic illness or some sort of crisis illness, cancer, and once they have whatever it is removed from them, their life really shifts for the better, because it was a burden they were carrying spiritually, but when they had it removed physically, that was the commitment that was necessary to transform them on all levels.
Right. No, it makes so much sense. And so I think though, sometimes when people this starts to happen with people, I mean, the fear factor steps in so much.
Yes.
That it's hard for people to see clearly. And,
Lisa, one of my favorite rituals to do, and I always, at some point, I always prescribe this to my clients, is when you want to make a big change and you feel stuck and you don't know how to do it. I say, okay, how do you want it to look? Like when you look out in your life, who is the person that has the thing that you say you want? And what do they dress like? And then how can you emulate them? And literally, I say, okay, I want you to go to the Goodwill and I want you to play dress up. Pick out an outfit that's not how you feel comfortable today. It's not who you are today. It's how you want to be. I want you to dress up like that, and then I want you to go out into the public. I want you to go to the mall, preferably a busy mall or, outdoor shopping area or a busy restaurant, and just go and see how people respond to you. See how they relate to you. One time I went and I guess I promoted criminal activity because I purchased a fake Louis Vuitton.
Uh-huh.
But I don't understand the whole designer bag thing. I just don't. They're not attractive bags to me. There's just nothing about them that's attractive. But I was like, what is that about? Because people just go banshee over them. Right. So I went and bought myself a fairly large fake Louis Vuitton for $50. Okay. And then I went to this high-end steakhouse, and I was sitting at the bar with this ridiculous bag on the bar. In my opinion, it was not attractive to me. But this woman came up, she said, oh my God, is that Louis Vuitton? Oh my God, that's so beautiful. It's such an amazing bag. Where did you get it? And I said, oh, it was a gift. I said, thank you so much. What do you like about these bags? She sat there and talked to me for 45 minutes, and I got all of my questions answered. I was so relieved because I don't have that sensibility. Those aren't my value system.
Right.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
You're everybody.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Welcome to The Gathering Around My Kitchen Table on Equilarium FM, Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join my guests as we integrate spirituality into everyday reality with vibrant conversations, inspired interviews, and my latest channeled guidance to inspire and brighten your day. I'm Claire Johnson, and together we'll be raising vibrations across the nations.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
The truth is, you can't change the world if you're broke. I know, I tried. Isn't it time you turned your life's calling into a profitable, freedom-based business? I'm Michelle Barr. Join me every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Sacred Success.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to OMTimes Radio. My special guest, Tracy Dunblazer. So Tracy, you found out the mystery of Louis Vuitton.
I did.
And designed her handbags.
I did uncover one of the deepest spiritual mysteries on the planet today.
Wonderful. But I think it's a really good thing for people to do what you suggested. To kind of go dress up and go out there as they projecting what they want to be. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I had a client one time who he didn't really feel like he was very sexy, and he wanted to be sexy. And I said, well, what does sexy look like to you? And he, mentioned a musician and his leather pants. I said, well, go get yourself some leather pants. Put on those tight leather pants and walk down the mall and see if you don't feel sexy. And it did. It changed. It's not something that he would have normally done, but once you catch the mojo of what you're going for, you can don your regular clothing, and because sexy is not how you dress, it's something that you are. Sophisticated is not how you dress, it's something that you are. Right. Loving is not how you dress, it's something that you are. All of these things that we desire to be are generated internally. And, if you choose an archetype, another thing that I love to do is, if there's somebody out in the world who's in the public world and they have a autobiography or a biography written about them and you want to emulate them, go buy their book. Go read about them, read about their life, read about how they got to be where they are today. It's not about trying to be them. It's trying to wake up the thing in them that mirrors the thing in you. If you notice them, there is a resonant factor. There's something that you have in equal portion. Theirs is developed or awakened, and yours may be undeveloped or unawakened. And so by connecting with them in any way, you awaken that thing in you, and then you recognize it in yourself.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
But we don't see things in other people that we aren't and don't have, and that's good and bad.
Right. I was going to say, let's talk of the not so good side of that for a moment.
Yeah. Well, I think that if you notice how people are unkind all the time around you, or stingy with their money, or fearful, or chaotic, or cautious or paranoid, right? When you notice what people are doing around you, it's because it's mirroring a part of you. If somebody is paranoid, it's because they don't trust people, and they may not trust people for a whole bevy of reasons. So, where are you at with trusting others or trusting yourself?
Exactly. And that's once again where we go back to the forehead scenario.
Exactly.
What color headband are you wearing today?
Yes. For me, I'm going with a bright fuchsia indigo blue.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes. It complements my new unicorn hairdo.
Oh, awesome. I think I'm going with the traditional red and green because I'm such a Christmas person.
Nice. Perfect. And so, Lisa, what is the sign that you are now going to don on your forehead?
Oh, I want to don that sign, I'm awesome, and oh my God, I keep getting better. That's a sign. I mean, that is just like, that's awesome.
Exactly.
And what about you, Tracy?
I think that for me, the idea of complete peace in my fullness, like I have more than enough on all levels, and I handle it all beautifully. That's the sign that I have. I am handling this stuff beautifully.
No, I think it's wonderful. And I really think people out there that are listening should really take a minute and consciously think about the message that they want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On their forehead. I think it's a very, very good exercise.
No, it really is. And it's interesting. It's an exercise that we use in like sensitivity training and more corporate style things. But you actually you fill out a card and you put it on your forehead. Or actually, no, you don't. Somebody takes a card and they put it on your forehead. And then you walk into the group and everybody has to react to you like it says on your card.
Oh, I've never been to one of those trainings.
Well, so next time,
hard on the forehead.
Next time you go to one of your development groups, do this game. It's amazing.
So what do you do?
Well, you can take an energy or emotion, or a lot of times they do it in racial sensitivity training or sexual orientation sensitivity training, where a heterosexual, woman will wear I'm a transgender male, sign on her head, and she'll walk into the group, and then everybody will treat her what they think the stereotypes of treating that person is. And then she'll have to figure out what she is. Or you can say, I'm angry because of this, or this happened to me, or, I'm happy all the time and don't ever deal with the truth. Whatever it is, but it's fascinating to have people treat you in that manner, and then you have to figure out what the sign on your head is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a great thing. There's a lot to be learned and a lot to be experienced from that. Again, the majority, 90%, I'm going to say that's totally a Tracy made up fact, but 90% of our communication is every other level, but vocal.
Right.
We are telepathic. We are intuitive. We are energetic. We feel on every other level before we actually see somebody. So all of those experiences on an energetic level are very truthful, right? They shine through crystal clear before they get to the physical world.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that is very true, and I totally resonate with that and agree with you. Mm-hmm. And so, what do you suggest for people for this great holiday season? Because there's a lot of stuff going around printed on the forehead, and a lot of it's from days of old.
Right, people. There's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
I want to take a minute to just talk about terrorism. The whole point of terrorism is they try to get you psychologically and emotionally to think about them when they are not there.
Right.
That's the point. Any terrorist, gang members are terrorists sometimes. Criminals are terrorists. Bigots are terrorists. There's a lot of ways that we experience terrorism. Bullies are terrorists. That's what they are. It's not a religious-based thing. It's a way of being where somebody gets you to think about them when they are not there and get you to fear what they might do but haven't yet done.
Right.
And they do that to keep you off guard. And so what I suggest with people, and I think that this is really important, to deal with what you fear. Don't deal with it by going out and buying a gun. Deal with it by saying to yourself, okay, why am I afraid of this? What would I want to happen in that situation if I was there? How would I want it to end? And be clear with yourself. Would you want to die or would you not want to die? I know that sounds stupid, but there are a lot of people out there who truly they're sad and disgruntled and bitter, and they're having a really frustrating time, and they may not be suicidal, but they might be thinking, you know what? If today was my day, I wouldn't be mad about it. Right? And because on an unconscious level, they're having a difficulty coping with their living process.
Right.
So, think about those things, decide how you would want it to be, and then allow yourself to become the superhero in the story. What would you do? If you could live and everyone could live in the scenario, what would that look like? And allow your imagination to take over and tell you how that could be manifest for you. Once you have kind of talked through those things or visioned through those things yourself, it changes how you see everything. And that's the most important thing. A terrorist can't terrorize you if you see the vision of light from your heart, not from their darkness.
Exactly. And Tracy, I wanted to real quickly, we're running out of time here, but tell us, what do you got going on, or what do you got coming up for the new year?
Well, I don't quite have the schedule, but I'm
okay. You don't have to go word for word. Just tell us what.
I'll be teaching a Reiki master class in January, the end of January. I will probably be going to Salt Lake City, Utah in April. I'm hoping to have some local Southern California Barnes & Noble book signings, although I don't have that schedule yet. I have Book 2 is available. Book 2 really has to do with a lot of the things that we talked about today, and it's called The Demon Slayer's Handbook, a practical guide to self-healing and unconditional love. And you can get that on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com, or you can walk into a Barnes & Noble and pick it up or order it if they don't have it on hand.
Gotcha. Well, that's wonderful. And you've got part 3 in the works as well, correct?
I do. Part 3 is going to be dealing with karmic relationships, everybody's favorite subject.
Wonderful. Well, Tracy, thanks so much for being on the show this morning, and thanks for helping all of us once again expand our awareness a bit more today. And as I mentioned, all of you out in Radioland, please visit Tracy's website at www.tracydunblazer.com. That's TraceeDunblazer. I want to once again thank all you guys for hanging out with us today. And if you want further information about the Live with Lisa Phoenix radio show, please visit my website at www.lisaphoenix.net. That's LISAPHOENIX.net. And I'd love it if all of you would go to like me on Facebook at Lisa Phoenix Live. Live with Lisa Phoenix is on every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 10